You know what I always found interesting? How every K-pop idol inevitably gets assigned an animal. Take a look at BTS, IVE, Stray Kids. Idols know that at one point or another, they're getting their fursona, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Well, there's definitely some special exceptions. Shout out to Triple S Xion, who's just bread, and 17 Woozy, who's a bowl of rice. That's pretty awesome. But it makes me wonder, how do they get these representative animals in the first place? All the explanations I see are along the lines of, just look at her, see? Bear! But that's not enough for me. I want to find out not only how, but when certain idols became their animals, and see what it can tell us about this animal aspect phenomena in the first place. So I figured we'd take a look at the arguably most common of them all. Today, we're going to compare 5 different cat idols and figure out exactly how they became known as cats. Our cat testants in official debut order are LOONA and Loossemble Hyunjin.
Everybody say ayo.
Enhypen Jungwon. NMIXX Kyujin. NewJeans Haerin.
Hello, I'm NewJeans Haerin.
And last but not least, Triple S's Hyerin.
My friend.
I chose these idols because they're some of the more well-known ones in the industry, and from groups a lot of my subscribers are into. We'll be putting these idols to the test with the 5 hypotheses of cat idols, which I put together from what other people have said and what I've personally noticed. For example, does everyone really have cat eyes, whatever those are? Are they all introverts? Those were some of the guesses I had going into this. Well, number 4 I didn't see coming and is my favorite. Anyways, get ready because we're finding the real cat formula today. Let's get started. That's right, we have to talk about cat's eyes. No, cat's eyes. Thank you. The overwhelming cat trait that people link idols with is the eyes. And despite this being a category based on physical appearance, I would argue it's the most subjective. Cause what are cat eyes? I hear people throw this term around all the time, but it's not really clear what they look like. Well, from what I understand, the common sentiment seems to be this. If you look at a cat, you'll see a lot of them have this distinctive curve on their upper eyelid, which seems to taper off into their fur. There's probably a scientific name for it, but I'm not a scientist. Whatever it is, it gives their eyes a sort of sharp quality. And if you look at Jungwon, now he's got those sharp eyes. The optometrist has to be extra careful with him. They're upturned and well-defined, the quintessential essence of what people consider to be cat eyes. Now, if you look at Hyunjin, I can see it. It's not that her eyes are particularly sharp or anything, but they're large with a well-defined curve. What I think brings her a step closer to cathood is her particularly prominent canines. They look sort of like fangs, so that helps her case. And Kyujin? Well, yeah, actually. A lot like Jungwon, they're upturned. That's definitely adding to the cat feeling. Now, Triple S Jung Haerin? Maybe? A lot like Hyunjin, they're large with a well-defined curve, but that's about it. Very different from Kyujin's and Jungwon's. And finally, Kang Haerin. Everyone and their grandma talks about Haerin's cat eyes, and going from our criteria, it makes sense. She's got large eyes with upturned, well-defined upper eyelids. She's definitely rocking them cat eyes. So the idols that align with the first hypothesis are Jungwon, Kyujin, and Kang Haerin, if we're defining cat eyes as sharp, upturned eyes. And let's just add teeth to the criteria and give Hyunjin a full pass. Jung Haerin will put down as a maybe, but again, it's all subjective, and really begs the question of what the opposite of cat eyes look like. Dog eyes? Cause frankly, a lot of idols have these features. They're not really rare. For example, AT's Seonghwa, Triple S Lin, and Stacy Sumin fit this sort of eye shape as well, and they're not represented by cats. So if eyes don't tell it all, let's look at the second pattern. We all know the stereotype. Dogs are extroverted and cats are introverted. So does this check out with our 5 feline... God, I can't with the cat wordplay. So does this check out with our 5 idols? Let's take a look at their MBTIs. 3 out of 5, eh? well, that doesn't seem like much of a correlation. To be fair, Hyunjin isn't really a normal extrovert. She says her type changes a lot, so I'll just mark her down as a maybe. And I mean, she isn't really normal in general. Hands down, the most introverted idol here is Hyerin, Hyerin. And most bunnies would agree, it plays into her cat persona. It gives an air of mystique, curiosity, and watchfulness, much like one of those black cats you see in animated films or games. But clearly, it's not a requirement to be calm and graceful. So there you go. You want me to find an objective way to measure cuteness? Oh, have you guys noticed something about these idols? Something they all have in common? 'Cause I just did. They're all maknae line. That's actually pretty amazing. Hyunjin is 5th youngest, Jungwon 2nd, Haerin 7th. I mean, it doesn't sound impressive, but it's out of 24, come on. Haerin 2nd, and Kyujin is maknae. So I'm using that as a way to measure objective cuteness. Scientific, I know. And even besides that, pretty much everyone here isn't afraid to aegyo, besides Hyerin, who makes up with it with her quiet charm. So there you go. I guess cats are cute. But wait, there's more. 4 of these members are known for switching to absolutely cool slay dancers as well. Sorry, Hyunjin. So maybe the cool, cute dichotomy is part of the cat image. Just a thought. You ever see a cat that wishes they were a dog? Probably not. Ignore her. Cats like to be themselves. They're a bit pompous about it, but we love them anyways. And one obvious factor you might have missed which decides which idols are cats is if the idol wants to be a cat. Yeah, I mean, it's that simple. I know I hadn't really thought of it until I started researching because I just sort of assumed the fans pick whatever they think fits the idol, but believe it or not, one idol here chose to be a cat before the fans even knew who they were. And that idol is kitty cat Hyerin. We all know how NewJeans had a surprise debut and no one knew the members beforehand, right? Well, why then are there cats peppered all over her version of the debut album? Or why did she draw the cat keychain for the bag version? Or why did she literally introduce herself as a cat during the debut livestream? Truth is, Hyerin has been embracing her cat self since before we even knew about her, and that's pretty badass. She's a cat through and through. Of course, the fact she even identifies as that might be influenced by the other factors we talked about, but the point is, it's how she identifies. So it makes sense the fans would see her that way too. Another idol where this is likely the case is Kyujin. She was already introducing herself as Cheeky Cat on Weekly Idol the day after debut. And while she did have pre-debut videos online, only a few people here and there were likening her features to a cat. It's likely that her introducing herself that way on day 1 sealed the deal in the K-pop consciousness. So while it seems like Kyujin chose that title for herself, it's also possible the members or company were a factor. Maybe some answers watching know the answer. The jokes write themselves. For Jungwon, it's hard to say. Enhypen has a lot of older content I couldn't watch all of, including an entire show, but I know NewJeans were already calling him a cat because of his features as early as September of 2020. That's 2 months before debut. Not even the sheep costume could hide it. But as for when Jungwon himself started embracing it, I'm not quite sure. He had cat ears in the thumbnail for his birthday video less than a year later, so we know it was officially established within the first year. And it's safe to say he likes it.
Happy birthday, baby kid. Thank you.
But if any NewJeans watching know the first time Jungwon ever did cat aegyo, let me know in the comments. I asked 2 fans already, but they didn't know either. What I do know for sure is that Kyujin and Hyerin are the 2 kitties that became one with the cat on their own volition from day 1. Pretty neat. But notice I haven't covered 2 of the other cats yet. That's because for them, there may have been some other grander forces at play. To explain, let's head on over to the 5th hypothesis. Okay, that's a joke. But creative director of LOONA and S, Jaden Jung, represents the larger factor, being something external, whether it be a creative director, company, or unique group circumstances. So Hyunjin and Hyerin are both from Jaden's project groups, and they're both the second revealed member of their groups. Coincidence? I think not. In all seriousness, while Jaden may have indirectly caused them to wind up as cats, it wasn't in the same way. First, let's look at Hyunjin. Now, all the hardcore orbits watching know that each member of LOONA had an official assigned animal. Hyunjin, a bunny. Hassel, a bird. And Hyunjin's was the cat. So you could say she was designated as a cat by Jaden. But here's the catch, which took me by surprise. She actually wasn't really considered a cat idol for a long time. Like, I watched through so many LOONA TVs for this video, and you want to know the first time she acted like a cat and did one of her signature aeongs? She didn't. At least not in the first 400 episodes or so. The only exception is when Hassel compared her teeth to a cat's in episode 93. Even in her original LOONA TV era, where she was filming her music video surrounded by cats, not a single person called her a cat in the comments. The first time I even saw people do that was LOONA TV number 277, after she had been absent from episodes for months. So maybe her being gone gave her a sort of stray cat feeling? It's hard to tell. So from this, we can see it took some time before she embodied the animal. But once she embraced it, she really embraced it.
OBS를 애용, 많이 애용. 그러니까 애용해요. 여러분, 사랑해요.
Though I'm still gonna have to knock off a point for being terrified of fish. Hyerin, on the other hand, became a cat almost entirely because of the fandom. When she was first revealed, there were things like polls on Twitter to decide what emoji to use for her. This one had cat and chick as contenders. So why did people jump to cat so quickly? Well, here's my theory. Soyeon, the first member, was compared to a puppy. So people saw Hyerin and thought, you know what, she looks a little bit like a cat, so let's balance out Soyeon's dog energy with some cat energy. I mean, cats are common, so it only makes sense it came to people's minds so soon into the group's lifespan. It could be that if she was the last member revealed, she would have wound up with an entirely different representative animal. Nakyung might have had a cat monopoly. So from a mixture of the unique circumstances of the group and the fan reaction, her identity as a cat was born. But again, that's just my theory. Either way, Hyerin gradually transformed into a cat. The fifth member, Yuyun, stated that Hyerin reminded her of a cat in the July 18th signal, which, being the first time a member ever said it on the channel, may have affirmed the idea in the minds of fans. Second, Hyerin seemed to really enjoy the cat name, and eventually owned it for herself. Check out this interview from Mashable on November 16th, 2023. And that's all 5 of the hypotheses I tested. Anything surprised you? Or maybe I missed something. I probably did, because there was just so much content to cover. Let me know in the comments. But now that we've gone through them all, what's the takeaway? Well, notice I've been calling them hypotheses, because ultimately what I've learned is it's complicated. What an idol's animal isn't dictated by a simple formula or checklist. Sometimes appearance is a factor. Sometimes what the idol wants is a factor. And sometimes what the company or fans think is a factor. It's an intersection of so many forces, an identity formed and reaffirmed through a back and forth between the artist and their fans. So maybe when people explained it with, just look at Minji, she's a bear, it was good enough. At the end of the day, whatever fursona your favorite idol got is what they are. Idols embody the vibes of certain animals because regardless of any other factor, that's what they in their fandom have ultimately embraced. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Xion really is bread, and Woozy really is a bowl of rice. So damn accurate. Thanks for watching. My goal is to hit 10,000 subs this summer, so if you found this interesting, leave a like and subscribe for more fun and insightful K-pop content. But I'll see you guys next time. Annyeong!